on ചെയ്തോളൂ. So good afternoon. We are entering to the demonstration session 5. As all of you know that we are really familiarizing all the digital tools that we are using in our digital platforms or virtual classrooms. For that presentation, I am inviting the next team of Anjima J Nair, Archana Sudevan, Aswathy A.S. And the topic they are going to present is ICs and its scope in future. Over to the team. I am welcoming all the team members for their presentation.
So good afternoon, one and all. So here we, the team of session 5, are here again. And first of all, introducing our team, myself, Archana Sudevan.
I am Anjima J Nair.
I am Aswathy A.S.
Yes, that's it. So have you ever thought of the computers that occupies the space of a building in the earlier days? What might be the reason for? Have you ever think upon it? Not right? Yes, it's due to the connections which are made in a complex circuit way, which consist of so many resistors, transistors, diodes, capacitors, and even more. Then what happens to today's world? Yes, it's all scaled down to the nano level, right? The technology has been changed a lot. And what made it possible? It's all because of integrated circuit system or the IC chips. So in this session, we are going to deal with more about IC and the future scope of the same. And before getting into the core of the topic, we need to know much more about the electronic components. And for that, I invite Anjima.
Okay, so far Archana has tell you about the magnificent changes that had occurred in our day-to-day life. It is basically due to the miniaturization. So what all things are miniature? Of course, it is the electrical components. As we all know, there are different electrical components which we make use of making a circuit which give us better results. Actually, you all are familiar with certain types of devices, that is resistors, capacitors, inductors, transistors. I hope all of you are familiar with these names. So basically, all these have different properties and different importance in electronic circuits. So based on their workings and their efficiency and their need in an electronic circuits, they can be broadly classified as two. So they are active components and passive components. So as its name indicates, the components which are active without the help of any other components, or the components which are the part of an electronic circuit that rely on an external power source to control or modify electrical signals. That is, when electrical signals are given to them, they will acquire the capacity of making better changes to the signals, and they will give us better gain in the circuit. Such type of devices that we used in a circuit are called active components. So the examples of such active components are transistors, field defect transistors, etc. Now, moving on to the second type of components, that is passive components. As its name indicates, they do not require any other external power source for maintaining their functions, or components which are the part of an electronic circuit that do not need an external power source to control or modify the electrical signals. Examples of such passive components are capacitors and resistors. So by combining all these active and passive circuits, we will be getting a more and better useful device. Now, the one problem that we are facing is the huge size by coordinating all these. What is the solution for becoming or making a better device? So this will be deal with Aswathy teacher.
Okay, now you all are familiar with the components like resistors, capacitors, transistors, diodes used in such electronic circuits. And you have known that for a complex electronic circuit, lakhs and lakhs of such components like resistors, capacitors have been used in it. So it is obvious that the size of such complex circuits will be very enormous. So if it is possible to incorporate all these small components in a single semiconductor crystal, it will be very much useful to us, right? Because it may reduce the size of such large electronic gadgets. And this arrangement is called IC, or integrated circuit chips. And this arrangement, this IC chip is an arrangement incorporating the functions of lots of transistors, capacitors, inductors, diodes, etc. in a single semiconductor circuit. And more about this, there are different kinds of IC chips, and it may be taken by Anjima.
Okay, so we have dealt with the definition of ICs. Now there are different types of ICs also. So here we are dealing with only the basic classification of ICs, that is linear or analog ICs and digital ICs. So as the name indicates, linear or analog ICs are those ICs in which the inputs or outputs basically depend upon the continuous waves. That is, these are called as analog or linear ICs because their input and output can take the continuous range of values and outputs are generally proportional to the input. Basically, they are frequently, or these linear types of ICs are used in operational amplifiers. Those amplifiers which perform the functions such as addition, multiplication, division, etc. And power amplifiers, voltage comparators, voltage regulators, and small signal amplifiers. Now, the digital ICs. As we all know, digital circuits basically use their inputs in two forms, that is, in the form of binary digits. And binary digits, the inputs are given in two values, that is, zeros and ones. So, those ICs which make use of these binary inputs or these two possible inputs, that is, high or low, such ICs can be referred to as digital ICs. And they are used in flip-flops, calculators, memory chips, clock chips, etc. Now, let us familiarize with an application that helps us know about our electrical components. Moving on to Aswathy teacher.
Hope you can see the screen.
Yes, Aswathy teacher.
Okay, this is an application, ElectroDock, which is available in our Play Store, and it is free to download. And as we are dealing with electronics, like you can see that resistor color code, SMD resistor code, inductors, Ohm's law. There are many such there are many such provisions to do the electronics very easily using this simple app. The 555 timer, etc. is here. And now, as a simple basic idea, we can move to the resistor color code. You all know that the resistance of a resistor can be calculated by using the color code itself. And for an example, I may demonstrate a 47 kilo ohm resistor. For that, you know that by the color code, the first yellow, violet, orange, gold. You can see that a tick mark has been put there. That is 47 kilo ohm is there. And randomly, I may choose another color like this. But it may show a halt signal, which is there is no such resistor, 33 mega ohms. So this application will show how many resistor values are available in the market for using in such electronic circuits. And for another example, I may show you 5.2 ohms, green, red, gold, and then silver or gold. You can see that 5.2 ohms. And now another application here is capacitor And as Anjima teacher has told you, operational amplifiers are analogous ICs used there. And it contained of resistors and capacitors inbuilt. And by making use of this app, you can see the gain, the input voltage, output voltage, the resistor values, etc. And you can change the resistor input voltage value, the resistor value, and the output value, etc. by using this application. And you can calculate the gain, which is made as an inbuilt application using this software. And this is all about the application. And now Archana will take the features, advantages and disadvantages of IC.
Okay, so now we can see some of the features of integrated circuit system. So let me present the screen. Okay, so now features of integrated circuit system. First one is that it has the ability to minimize the size of the electronic devices. As I've already told about the computers in the earlier days, and from today we are using, and still today we are using to laptops and many other gadgets which are being nanoscale. And next one, it is the ability to ensure high efficiency. Third one, it is a credibility. And next, it acquires low energy consumption. Then it has got a higher longevity, and the ability to resist temperature variations is good compared to the other electronic components with that of the integrated circuit system. And now moving on to the advantages, we can see that it is extremely small physical size. Yes, so it is very easy, and hence it has got very small weight, and the cost is also being low, and extremely high reliability is there for ICs, and therefore it is suitable for small signal operations too, which has got low power consumption, and easy replacement is possible. So now we can see some of the drawbacks, and for that I invite Anjima.
So far, you have discussed about the lot of advantages of integrated circuits, and you will be known that these are such superb devices that we can use for the better outputs. So there are also some drawbacks to this integrated circuits. So mentioning those drawbacks, coils and inductors cannot be fabricated in the integrated circuits. Now, they functions only at fairly low voltages, and they can handle only a limited power, and they cannot withstand excessive heat, though it is also referred as it can maintain temperature variations. High temperature variations or excessive heat can also burn the devices. Now, moving on to the future scopes of integrated circuits. As we all know, the one of the familiar or main use of this integrated circuit is the miniaturization of the devices. Also, the next level use of these integrated circuits are the microprocessors having a lakhs and lakhs of transistors. So as we all know, the today used palm tops, Intel devices all use this microprocessor having fascinating properties is due to the invention of integrated circuits. And also major inventions are being done in this field. Then precision lens, LED displays with high quality sound effect, extensive application in the microelectronic technology, and modern electronic test instruments such as digital meters, frequency counters, logic probes. Along with this, the major development and discoveries is being carried out in the field of microelectronics, that is to design programmable watch which help us to know about the time, second, month, week, and year, etc. So the integrated circuits have a lot of in importance in our daily life. Now, let us go into the summary of the session by Aswathy teacher.
today we have discussed about integrated circuits or IC chips. And in the beginning, we all see that how complex were the gadgets before using integrated circuits. Resistors, capacitors, etc. were used in large amount, lakhs and lakhs of numbers, and it make the gadget very complex and large. And you can see the laptops and palm tops here. By using IC or integrated circuit chips, the size of the gadgets are being very reduced. And IC, as you can see, this is the IC which is available in the market for using. In this figure, you can see that the transistor, diode, resistors, they are connected by using connecting wires. And this is a miniature form of IC. And in long back, we were using these circuits in a single circuit board, soldering in it, which is very difficult and it is very complex and it is having a large size. And by using a IC chip, the size of the electronic gadget have been reduced very much. And now the use of ICs, car, television, CD player, cell phone, we use ICs in car, television, CD player, and cell phone. And the size of an IC, which is 1 mm into 1 mm size, having an 8 leg. Now, types of ICs, linear or analog ICs and digital ICs. In linear or analog ICs, as the name says, you can see the input signal will be a sine wave or an analog signal. Here, the output is always proportional to the input. And in digital ICs, the input signals are not analogous, whereas it is a square wave. That is, 0, 1 signals are fed in it. In analogous ICs are used in operational amplifier, and in digital, we use logic gates in creating digital signals. And also we discussed about the advantages, disadvantages, and the features of ICs. And now we can move on to the review questions.
Okay, so far we have discussed the entire session of integrated circuits and its future scope, and also you had went on with the summarizing session. Now let us have a review on the session. Now, the differentiate between the active and passive components, what are integrated circuits, explain the types of ICs, and mention the advantages and disadvantages of integrated circuits. These all questions help us to give a better review on the session. Now, moving on to the follow-up activity.
So here comes the follow-up activity for the session. Here you can see that a master following is being prepared, and in the A column we have active component, passive component, the advantages of IC, digital IC and analogous IC. And so what you need to do is that you need to just match the correct answers from the column B. So that's all about the follow-up activity.
And this session is ending here. Hope you all understand the session, the topics discussed here. And with the team, Archana, Aswathy, and Anjima signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Nicely you all took the session. So I think we will go to the next session also now itself. Okay. Okay. See you there in the next session. Okay. Thank you.